what I'm currently reading. I haven't done these for a while, and I haven't done this for a while, so I thought, why not? Because I'm currently reading a lot of books. I like to do these instead of like monthly TBRs, just because I like to read whatever suits me, and I don't really predict how fast or how slow I read certain books. So, yeah, I take a more spontaneous approach to what I'm currently reading. Yeah, I also enjoy reading way too many books at one time. I'm kind of indecisive, so I don't like to pick, so I'll read like a bunch of books at once. I don't like going too fast through books because I think that I like having time to process what's going on and having time to like form my own conclusions and to kind of analyze it subconsciously. But so I'll like read a couple chapters of one book and then I'll switch to another book and then that way I can have time to really think it through. So without further ado, let's start with nonfiction. Right now, I'm currently reading two nonfiction books, and the first is The Naked Ape by Desmond Morris. This isn't, well, again, it's an older edition, so you can't really tell what book it is, but here we go. So this is a zoologist looking at the human race through an evolutionary and through a scientific perspective. If you were like me and when you were a kid and you would read those books about animals and it would say like, and you would read about chipmunks or about koala bears or something and it would tell you about their lifespan and like how they raise their children and how they mate and how they fight and what their resources are for, and you thought, what if another species did that to humans? Desmond Morris has done this for you. It is incredibly illuminating and I really recommend it. Not all of his conclusions are completely accurate. This is a bit outdated because it was published in 1945. So, but at the same time, so sometimes he does go a little bit, does get his points a bit wrong, and we have like new evidence to realize that he wasn't completely correct. But at the same time, though, the entire sort of like concepts behind the book are incredibly illuminating and I think will really change the way that you see humans. So even if you're not necessarily into science, if you're into like sociology or understanding humanity better or psychology, I would really recommend this. It's really great. I'm about like halfway through and I'm really enjoying it. The next work of nonfiction I have is The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan. I mentioned this in my last What I'm Currently Reading video. But I've just been taking it slow, and I haven't. It's quite obviously quite large, and I've been really not pushing myself to read it because I've just been. I have to take significant breaks in between like the chapters because it. I feel very frustrated, not with her writing, but with the problems that she's describing. So that's why it's taking me quite some time, but I'm really enjoying it. It's a complete eye-opener, and as well too, this is one of the most influential books in American history. Absolutely great, and even though, you know, this is a 50-year edition, and even though it's a very old book, a lot of the concepts are incredibly relevant. This is all about how the like conservatism of the 50s and the sort of images of like complementarianism regarding like sexual differences, like, oh, women are more nurturing and men are more productive, things like that, where like they're separate but equal, they have different jobs, like just different natures naturally, is really combating against that and combating against the like conservatism post World War II. Very illuminating and still highly relevant despite its age. So I'm really enjoying that. And again, too, when I get angry, it's not at the writing, it's at the problems that she's describing. So yeah, and you can definitely still see traces of the problem that she's describing and the traces, like the root, still in our modern world. So okay, and now on to fiction. First I'm going to start with poetry. I'm just reading 20 Love Poems and a Song of Despair by Pablo Neruda, who is a Chilean poet. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful work of poetry. I'm just really enjoying savoring his work, and I'm not taking it too quickly. I just, you know, read a few before I go to bed, and it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, Neruda is just is just a master with words and with imagery, especially natural imagery. So I can't imagine how beautiful it was in the original Spanish. Next book that I have, onto novels. Oh no, I should do the short stories. I'm also currently reading a collection of short stories by Joyce Carol Oates. This is Black Dahlia and White Rose. This is the first work of Joyce Carol Oates that I have read, and I'm about halfway through. It's going quite quickly, and I am really enjoying it. I have been wanting to get into some of her bigger works, but I thought, why not sort of test the waters first with a series of short stories, see if you like her writing style, and I am really enjoying it so far. I don't normally read horror, so I was a little bit skeptical, but I am pleasantly surprised. Other books by her that I'm hoping to get into specifically are The Gravedigger's Daughter and Blonde. Blonde, which is a novelized account of the life of Marilyn Monroe. At first I thought, oh, I don't really want to read it. I saw Blonde on the list of 1001 books to read before you die, and I thought, oh, I don't really want to read about, like, you know, a Hollywood star. But I've heard that it's actually a really great look at sort of like the over-sexualization of female stars, and sort of and all about sort of like images and media and feminism. So it actually seems really great, and I'm quite impressed so far by this. So I definitely will. So now I definitely am looking forward to reading Blonde. Oh, also Black Dahlia and White Rose. This is about well, the first story. The name comes from Black Dahlia. Elizabeth Short, who was a woman in Southern California who was brutally murdered and raped and hacked to death, and she was called Black Dahlia by the newspaper outlets, and her roommate was actually Norma Jean Baker, who later became Marilyn Monroe. So it's quite an intriguing tidbit, because both of them are obviously very famous in their own way, but not a lot of people knew that they were roommates and quite close friends. So it's all about like sexual violence and abuse. Quite dark, but very good. Now on to novels. I'm still reading Nadia by Andre Breton. Such a short piece of work. I mentioned this in my last video, and surprisingly, this is a surrealist romance novel, but it's taking me forever to read, surprisingly. Just because, I don't know, it's just not really appealing to me, but I am determined to finish it. I will finish it. Yeah, I'm almost done, but I just keep putting it off because I want to read things that I'm more interested in. But I will finish it. I will. And the last book that I am currently reading is The Cider House Rules by John Irving. I am reading this as a buddy read with Amy over at From the Dusty Bookshelf, and I mentioned this in my book haul, and I'm really enjoying it so far. This is the first work of John Irving that I have read, and it's all about and it's centered on abortion. I am quite intrigued, but I do have a lot of thoughts, so I'm really looking forward to doing a book review of this. So oh, and I do have one more book, but I am reading it as an ebook. It's an advanced reader's copy that I got from NetGalley, and it is Summerlong by Peter S. Beagle, and it is just a short novella that is a work of fantasy. Peter Beagle is most known for The Last Unicorn, which was published in, I think it was 40 years ago. And I am enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to doing a review of that too. And I'm reading that with as a buddy read over with Elizabeth, also known as Shy-Town Hiker. And yeah, it's just really enjoyable, and it's definitely much lighter, but sometimes you need something a bit lighter to because you can only read so much about genocide. Yes, and before I go, Strip Cover Lit challenged me to read a graphic novel, and I had been meaning to get to it, and I actually had to ask my librarian where the graphic novels were, because despite having gone to this library for such a long time, I did not know where the graphic novels were. So I got Batman: The Dark Knight Rises. I have not ever read a graphic novel, and I haven't ever been really into the comic book world, but Strip Cover Lit, you challenged me to do it, and I'm gonna do it. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. So honestly, I can't I have like really bad connotations with The Dark Knight. Just like with those words, because every time I hear that, I think of like the shooting that happened at that movie theater. I think it was Ohio. But yes, I will get to this. I've been practicing how to read a graphic novel. I think I just get too distracted by like pictures and words at the same time. I don't know. I prefer to imagine my own situation. But we'll see. We'll see. This is coming. I'll get to it, and so stay tuned for that. So yeah, that's what I'm currently reading. I'm hoping to upload book reviews of these and several other books that I recently finished as well, such as Gilead by Marilynne Robinson. I finished that about a week ago, but I've had so many thoughts about them. And also another book that I've been meaning to review is Testament of Youth by Vera Brittain. I did this as a buddy read with Amy, but this book made me much more sad than I was anticipating, and I had to take a break because, wow, it really touched me. So stay tuned for those book reviews, and let me know what you thought in the comments, and if you've read any of these books before, or if any are on your TBR, I'm looking forward to hearing from you all. I'd also like to thank Erica from The Perks of Books for giving me a shout out in her latest BookTuber shout out video. I really appreciate it, and if you haven't heard of Erica for whatever reason, you should definitely go check her out, because she is wonderful and hilarious and so witty. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Doi!